congratulations on the new role. What are you going to bring to the head coach role of the England women's team?
Hopefully a lot of experience. I've done a lot of work as a coach in the game for over a number of years now, coming up to 18 years as a coach. So hopefully a lot of experience and just a fresh voice with fresh ideas and build on what's gone before, hopefully, and take us to the next level.
Evolution rather than revolution.
Yeah, very much so, yeah. Taking what we did in the World Cup, learning some lessons from that and trying to build on that and make us a better team going forward.
You mentioned on stage about the players' attitude. Perhaps they don't think they're quite as good as they are. Is that a difficult thing to get over to people?
I think it is, and I think without being damning on the players, I don't mean it in that way. It's just that I think they look at the full-time environment, they see all the press they're getting in the Australia, and they think, well, we're not at that level. But actually, when we get on a field and play, I think the first half an hour in the New Zealand semi-final showed that we're more than capable of competing.
They've never had as high a profile. Does that give you a bit of added pressure coming into the role?
No, not at all, and it's something that we want to continue to build on as well and raise the profile of the game, and the World Cup was excellent for that. It put some of our players out there to the public, the media, nationally, and raising that profile, like you say, is vitally important. So it inspires young people, young girls who want to join the sport. They've got role models.
Much like the men's football team sometimes, the first game comes quickly after the start of the season. How hard has it been to pick a squad based on the fact that you can only go on what the World Cup has and obviously your own opinions and players?
Yeah, so I've picked a really, really small squad just based on the World Cup and the England nights that we had just before the start of the World Cup. So we've gone small, and I've been round to all the clubs and talked to all the players there and told them that as the season starts and progresses, we'll be looking to add to this England squad and bring people in.
Emily Rudge stepping down as captain after 5 years. What do you feel she brought to the run? How big a boots will she have to fill?
Oh, massive boots for the new captain to fill, but I think Emily will be able to go and continue now without the pressure of being captain and just focus on playing for England and give her a bit more freedom. She did a marvellous job, absolutely marvellous job, and like I say, especially after the first World Cup was cancelled, because for our players to really build up for that, and we did a lot of sessions as an England group, for that to be cancelled quite late in the day was obviously a bit devastating, and for her to bring the group back together and then take us to a World Cup semi-final was outstanding.
But still, it's important to have those kind of players if she's still going to be in the squad around to help with the new captain. Yeah,
and the new captain, I'm sure, will lean heavily on Emily and tap into her experience and take advice off her as well. And Emily will always be a leader amongst the group, so it's great.
France up first, who obviously played Serbia a couple of weeks ago and a big win for them. Have you learned anything from watching that game?
Yeah, well, they've got a new coach as well, and they brought some new players in, and they were playing slightly different brand of football than what they were playing last year. So we've looked at the video, and we'll be going through the video with the girls at the next training session. So yeah, there's things to learn.
Will your style of football be different to how England teams have been in the past?
There'll be some subtle differences. Yeah, we're looking to do a little bit different with the ball in hand. So we'll be working on that as we go. France may be a little bit early to see the culmination of some of that work, but by the end of the year, we'll hopefully get some of that philosophy into the team.
The big talk after the World Cup was obviously the disparity between the northern southern hemisphere and the way that the women are paid over there, the salary caps and all that kind of thing. How do you bridge that gap as a coach? Because it's not just about telling the players that they're better than they think they are. It's what sort of resources can you offer that will bridge that gap?
Yeah, I think it's working closely with the Women's Super League coaches as well, and supporting them and them supporting me as well in my role, so that we can identify things in areas that need working on across the board and work together to do that as well. So as an example, we've highlighted just recently the concussion rate in our female players, and we've looked at the tackle technique as England, as Leeds Beckett, and now we're rolling out something with the Super League coaches about tackle technique, and we'll be going there and supporting them and them telling us what they think about tackle technique as well. So working in that two-way thing can help.
In terms of fixtures coming up as well, clearly the French one is going to be on telly, that's great, but you'll want, I would imagine, a much more extensive international programme. Who would you like to play and when would you like to play them? Because obviously with the girls that you've got at your disposal, it's not that easy to take them on tour maybe. So what are you looking at?
And they are the challenges, you know, with our girls working full time. You know, they have to take a lot of time off work to even just train for England in this country, so to go on tour. But that is the ultimate aim. I would be looking next year to visit the Southern Hemisphere and get that challenge that we need. So that's what we'll be looking to do. This year we need to continue the international programme, and hopefully the men and women will have a game at the end of the season in autumn as well.
You brought a couple of women back who weren't in the performance squad last year for the World Cup. How important has it been to re-engage those kind of personalities?
Yeah, and credit to those players, because when selected for England nights, they didn't hesitate to rejoin the programme. Worked really hard at the nights, really played well against the Cook Islands, and as well as playing really well for the club side as well. So they warrant their inclusion back into the performance squad, and I think they're very excited to be back in it.
And the domestic season about to kick off. Obviously, you would like all the clubs to be competitive at the moment. We're looking at 3, maybe 4, if Wigan can get back to the kind of standard that they were at. How do you see the game growing? And as the England and performance coach, what would you like to see from this season?
I think it's really, really important that the increase in girls playing the game, that we look after those girls, we don't force them into Super League teams too early, and that we're patient, because we've now got a massive influx of players, and they're going to come to fruition in a few years, which will then strengthen the Women's Super League, which will then strengthen England going forward. So that's what I'll be looking for.
The second World Cup in the Northern Hemisphere, coming along 3 years rather than 4. Does that give you an advantage, do you think?
I don't know whether it gives us an advantage. It gives us some challenges, because it's a shorter cycle. But I think it's exciting, because we're getting over the disappointment of the previous one. But I think players can see that the next one isn't too far away. So we say 3 years, but they're already looking 2.5 years, you know, before we fly out there. So I think it's giving them a boost, and especially some of the more senior players in England. They're looking and going, well, actually, I'm still around if I can keep my form, you know, because it's coming pretty quick.
And the reaction to you getting the job seems to be universally popular across the teams. There's no club allegiance. Do you think that's going to help?
Yeah, I mean, I think Craig did a marvellous job over the last 5 years, and I'm just hoping to build on that. But I think, you know, everyone knows I'm not attached to a club, so selections, etc., will be just based on mine and my staff's opinion.